If you're looking for Magic cards, look no further than Flipside Gaming. They have all the latest Magic singles and product that you need to actually leave the house and battle in Magic the Gathering. And right now, if you would like to save 10% on your orders from Flipside Gaming, use the promo code CGB at checkout. That is promo code CGB. Hello and welcome back to another day in the arena. It's me, it's CGB, and today we're going to look at the deck that got to 7 wins with Orzhov, black and white. And maybe not surprising to some of you who follow me, it turned out to be a bit of a control deck, but one that I think some people have really enjoyed the kind of novelty of, which is Fountain of Renewal plus Dawn of Hope. Dawn of Hope drawing a card, also creating 1/1 lifelink soldiers as a bit of a win con. It takes me back to the days of Kaldrorn Outpost. Counterpost was a deck. Obviously we don't have counter spells here, but the idea was to win with tiny little 1/1s built up over time and stop everything the opponent's trying to do, which this deck goes for pretty hard. Golden Demise, Moment of Craving, Settle the Wreckage, Eldest Reborn, Ixalan's Binding, Vraska's Contempt, lots of ways to kill the opponent's stuff. And if you have a Dawn of Hope, so many ways to gain life and draw cards. We even have an Invoke the Divine and some Ixalan's Bindings. There's an Immortal Sun and a Lich's Mastery, which can let you go off. In a number of matchups, you don't even cast this card on purpose because of cards like Cleansing Nova or Discovery Dispersal. But in those matchups where you need it, it can be really something. Then the other win con, if you're not winning with Dawn of Hope tokens, is Eldest Reborn, getting back something amazing of your opponents and beating them to death with it, which is always fun. There are 3 Duress just to keep a control deck on its toes, and the mana base doesn't have much that's fancy. There are 2 Field of Ruin, so you don't lose to a Search for Skanta or Legion's Landing, and there's an Arch of Orazca that can keep up with some value. Another card that could be considered for the deck is Detection Tower, but with the Eldest Reborns, honestly, I wish I could have gone back and put one in, but we just didn't have that problem. Eldest Reborn solved the Carnage issues along with Settle the Wreckage, so it wasn't necessary. But if I were rebuilding the deck today, I'd probably put a Detection Tower in for one of the Field of Ruins. However, the deck is as it was on the date when it won the Color Challenge, which I've got all this somewhere on my spreadsheet. November 14th. So this is a deck that got 7 wins on November 14th, 2018. Let's hope that this video ages well. I'll see you in the games. Okay then, we've got Golden Demise, Eldest Reborn, Lich's Mastery, ways to cast them. It'll work for me. If our opponent's aggressive, we're doing okay. The Lich's Mastery might come on later. We're in best of 1 ranked. There's a big to-do, a lot going around about what's happening to the events, the competitive events, the best of 1 events. The prizes are getting significantly reduced, mainly because they're taking out ICRs, individual card rewards from those events. So I'm going to stay on ranked. This is the day that update is supposed to happen, so I'm a bit nervous that if I enter the event, I won't be able to finish it since so much is going to change. So we're going to try the latter instead. Since ranks will be reset very soon, I don't have to care too much about my precious silver rank 4. Our opponent launching a Thought Erasure. Not really what we want to see at all. Now we have a lot of ways to kill a Thief of Sanity. But other than that, we might just get torn apart by cards like Disinformation Campaign. We can beat our opponent up a lot if we can resolve a Dawn of Hope in this matchup. If we can pull that off, the decks like this don't have great ways to deal with it. Another Thought Erasure. They might take the Revitalize, so maybe I should fire it off. But it would just be so terrible if we drew a Dawn of Hope or one of our key cards and were forced to discard it. So we'll let the opponent have another choice here. They'll take the Mastery. So they might, now they think we're a Lich's Mastery deck. We're really not. It's just a 1 of. And I wouldn't even play it against this deck. I would rather discard it to a... I wouldn't even play it against a deck that's probably running Dispersal, because we instantly lose the game if they return that card to our hand. I'd rather discard it to a Disinformation Campaign than play it. All right, I'm going to play out the Arch of Orazca here just so it gets out of our hand in case we want to start discarding a land, although I'm much more likely to discard these removal spells. And now our opponent's missing land drops, okay? And the staring match continues. I could play this Duress now, but it would probably get countered. So I'm going to wait until I have a card to force through with the Duress. Since we've already seen 2 Thought Erasures, it may be safe, but we'll see. For example, I draw an Arguel's Bloodfast or a Dawn of Hope. I want that to resolve, so I lead with Duress. The opponent taps their 3 mana to counter the Duress, and then with only 2 mana left over, we resolve the card we need to resolve. We're 1 land away now from Arch of Orazca, and that will really put the opponent in a tough spot. And they are still saying go, and it looks like they've hit the discard wall, and down goes Spell Pierce. There is a Field of Ruin. The Arch of Orazca, that precious one of, is online now. And Dream Eater is entering the battlefield with nothing to target. Well, let's let the opponent do their surveilling. Let's put it in control mode now so that I get a chance to respond while my opponent's tapped out. And now end turn. Let's see what they binned. Bunch of land, and they did keep 1 card. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's draw a card with our Arch of Orazca and just see what we get. A Revitalize. Oh, and then it passed. Man, I'm still not good at this. I keep on thinking that if I hit... Because I hit control mode again right after I tapped for the Arch of Vraska. I keep on thinking that if I do that, it won't pass priority, but it does, and I'm a fool. Okay, well, I don't know if it's right to use the Contempt there anyway. The Contempt is such a good card. However, I don't know if this deck is going to do anything with Planeswalkers, so maybe it is just best to get these kind of cards out of the way. Anyway, I'm trying to Revitalize. A little more life, a little deeper in deck. Seems good to me. We might also spend these Golden Demise Moment of Cravings. See how our opponent handles that. I'm not sure what they're thinking about here with Revitalize. Perhaps they have another Dream Eater. If they do have another Dream Eater, the best way to get them both would be the Golden Demises. Well, let's see how they react to some amount of Golden Demise. Of course, we could launch with the Duresses to make sure that this all happens. That's probably smart. Let's see what happens when we start with Duressing. Now, if we're going to double Golden Demise, we can only use 1 Duress, and there's Sinister Sabotage. Let's see, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1. This can be 1. So if I blow up one of their lands and get another black source, then I have black, white, black, 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 black. I think that works, actually. That I can have another black source to Duress again. Second Sabotage. Now, they showed that they use Spell Pierce. We would be walking into a pretty huge blowout. I think I'll use Golden Demise Moment of Craving, but we got 2 counter spells out of the way. Here's a Golden Demise. Here's a Moment of Craving. Now the opponent has to find a new threat, and we got 2 Sinister Sabotages out of the hand on the same turn, which makes the Surveil a little more awkward. Although it looks like they surveilled to the graveyard each time. Now here on end step, do I keep my... They might have Search for Azcanta. I don't want to lose to Search for Azcanta, and we're making the mana work. All right. I think that using Arch of Orazca on the end of their end step is smart because of the discard spells that they run, whereas using it on my turn might help me hit land drops. There's the Dawn of Hope. Do you think we can force that through? It is the card, right? And with 2 Sinister Sabotages down, how many can the opponent have? They could have another, but they protected that Duress quite a bit. I think I'll wait a little bit longer, though. Maybe we can do something like Ixalan's Binding on the next Dream Eater and get them to respond to that. And there's an Eldest Reborn. Okay, so that's the kind of thing we can try to... Ixalan's Binding, the opponent will counter, will resolve Dawn of Hope, and life will be great. Or at least that's my plan. There's a Bloodfast. So this is the thing I think I need the least, especially with the Dawn of Hope going to come online. So let me see if I can resolve an Arguel's Bloodfast. Yes, I can. Okay. Well, now with Dawn of Hope, let me see if that will resolve. Okay. Let's see if Ixalan's Binding will resolve. And that's what gets the Sabotage. Interesting. So the opponent wants this Eldest Reborn so badly. I mean, what is their Dream Eater going to do about the horde of lifelinking tokens? They have no way to remove these cards. I'm kind of amazed. Here comes Eldest Reborn. I'll discard a Golden Demise. Not too worried. So let's start the pressure. Let's start cranking out some tokens. Bloodfast is just the backup to the Dawn of Hope. I'd rather draw cards and apply pressure at the same time, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we can certainly afford the 2 mana here. No need for the Arch of Orazca anymore, because we'll use our extra mana to make tokens. All right, here comes Dream Eater. There's nothing else to get. And the target? Well, first there's the Surveil 4. So the top card is the Eldest Reborn. Let's see what the opponent finds. Well, maybe not what they find, but we'll see what they put in the graveyard for certain. Having a long look at these. And the cards put 2 lands go to the top, so 2 cards are still on top of the deck. Now they're trying to bounce the Dawn of Hope. Let's go ahead and make some dorks. I think that the opponent will likely remove these with some kind of sweeper, so I'm only going to do the 2 here. There's only 1 Sinister Sabotage left. The decks also sometimes run some Syncopates. We see a Spell Pierce, but none of those are going to be very effective against us right now. And, looking in all the graveyards, perhaps we're considering Eldest Reborn number 2. No attacks because of Summoning Sickness. So we'll go to end step. I'll try out a Vraska's Contempt on this Dream Eater. Before we draw cards to the Arguel's Bloodfast is kind of critical because of Spell Pierce. And that's gone. Yeah, I feel like you can't have as many counter spells as you want to pretend you has. But of course, they might be holding it, afraid of the Dawn of Hope. Let's go for it. I don't think there's any reason to try to play around much. The opponent does not have the answer. More cards, please. And another land for the turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I don't even want to play the Fountain of Renewal. I'd rather make 2 creatures instead of 1 on end step to keep applying some pressure. So we'll say go. Basically, I want to hold mana up into divisibles of 4. Every 4 mana is a little more pressure. What do you think the opponent's hand is? I can't imagine that they're lacking something like a Ritual of Soot, a Golden Demise. I'm sure they have one, and I think they're holding out until there's many more dorks on the field. I would also imagine that Vraska's Contempt is in there, maybe multiples, and it's quite possible that there could be another Eldest Reborn. 10, 12, 14, 15. Just deciding how many cards I might want to draw here. I want to be able to keep making 2 creatures a turn, so I'm going to draw 2 cards. Or 3 cards, I mean. I'm going to draw 3 cards. I don't recommend playing second Dawn of Hope, even when it seems like the right play at the same time, for quality of life reasons. The amount of triggers that will stack up will be very hard and annoying to click through. So up to 31. The enchantment lock is definitely here. Blue-black dealing with enchantments is not their specialty. So they drew another Thought Erasure. Is that the 3rd or 4th? 3rd one. They get to pick from which of these things they most want to not lose to. They've chosen Ixalan's Binding. Another land goes to the graveyard off the top. Here's the Ritual of Soot. We expected that would come eventually. Okay, we're definitely making dorks on end step. Am I drawing a card with the Fountain of Renewal? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So no. Well, I may as well. I don't have that many life gain triggers. Just the 2 from the attacks, which the 1 from the Fountain is more guaranteed. In case they somehow kill the creatures, I don't know. They might be sitting on Moment of Craving. You never know these things. Players are strange. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 9, 10, 14. We can draw 1 card here. And how are we doing? 21 cards in deck, not bad. On end step, we're discarding, I guess, a land. We'll probably never miss a land drop for the rest of the game, or necessarily need all of them. I don't know what I might need a Golden Demise for, but may as well have spells. Spells are more options than lands that you never get to play. Our opponent's really fighting through this. I wonder if they have some kind of answer, something that they can actually dig for. A lot of these blue-black decks just lack the great finisher of a Niv Mizzet or a Carnage Tyrant that can overcome all odds and take home the victory. There's the Eldest Reborn. I don't think there's anything to get back. We exiled the Dream Eater. And we certainly do not offer the opponent any toys. Not seeing Discovery Dispersal or Disinformation Campaign in the list. And I do feel like we're missing a lot. And there, the opponent has scooped it up. I think the writing was finally on the wall. All right, this hand has an early Dawn of Hope, which you really want to see. It has a Golden Demise, which you'd like to see, but we don't have double black. Maybe Field of Ruin will help with that. I think it's a keep regardless. We still have a Moment of Craving to buy some time to find double black if the opponent's coming out super fast. Watery Grave. The blue-black decks seem to be making the rounds today, but I think it's the matchmaker. It just keeps pairing me against blue-black and Grixis. This is the 5th time. So if this makes it into the video, it will be because the gameplay was interesting in some way. Otherwise, it gets so monotonous when I play the same things over and over. But there's the turn 2 Dawn of Hope, which enchantments versus these decks. Pretty good. Turn 2 Opt. They bend a Divination, a card I really love on turn 3. Perhaps they have serious mana trouble. 1 to the top, so it better be a land. Or else it's the greediest keep of all time. Let's Duress and see what's cooking. What you got? Thought Erasure, Fiery Cannonade, Bolus, Hostage Taker. Well, the Bolus is... Maybe we can catch it with a binding. The Fiery Cannonade doesn't matter. We're definitely taking the Thought Erasure, and our opponent will have Bolus next turn. So we're going to need land off the top. The Golden Demise is pretty easy to discard here. Land off the top for the binding the Bolus. Fail. Big fail, actually. I can blow up their only black source to go get my own black. I think I'll wait a turn, though, for that. And... All right, let's go after that Watery Grave. See if our opponent plays basic Swamp or not. There's something to be said for Hostage Taker on Nicol Bolas, so you can play the other Bolas. Just saying. Just saying. But that Hostage Taker might be a problem for our Immortal Sun eventually. Wow. This is not good, my friends. This is not good. I'm trying to say go. My opponent's sitting there. Divination, sure. And here comes Nikki. Here's Nikki. Bang. All right, I'm going to say go. At some point, we might need to use Moment of Craving to buy time, but I don't think we're there yet. This might get stolen by a Hostage Taker, which would be hilarious. And yeah, I probably am going to start using Moment of Cravings just to buy time from Nicol Bolas. Just to do some fogs, so that I have time to draw some cards with Dawn of Hope if the Fountain of Renewal is allowed to live. But if I'm the opponent, I would hostage take that Fountain. Let's see if they do. Oh, they're just going to power up their Bolas. They're feeling good.
I am limitless.
I mean, drawing 2 cards is nice.
I know what must be done.
But they're tapped out. If we draw land, I'm going to decline. I'm going to hope to draw land. This could be a huge mistake. But I feel like we're due, friends. I feel like we are due. Give me that. Give me that. Give me that. There you go. And it is the same card because it's a flip card. So the opponent can't play this Bolas now. And we have locked Bolas out of the building. We have shut the door. It's a long way back into the game, but you can tell the opponent's a little, I don't know, are they tilted? Or do they have a way to deal with that binding? To bounce it, perhaps? They're going to try and opt to solve the problem. To the bottom. Still looking at this hand. Still trying to figure out what to do. Niv Mizzet. Good choice. However, I'm prepared. I'm declining again, so I can drop a binding on Niv as well and lock Niv out of the game. Forever. We'll see how equipped our opponent is to handle Ixalan's bindings in their deck. They're going to hostage take my Fountain now. Yes. Yes, they are. It's a spite play. It's a true spite play. Golden Demise. So we could kill off the hostage taker in a number of ways, but I'm not in a rush really. I'm probably going to just Moment of Crave it and draw cards, but if I'm going to do that anyway, there's something to be said for doing it now to hit land drops, but we're so far behind in land drops. We can't hope that making our land drops gets us back in it. We need the right cards to line up perfectly with the threats that our opponent presents. All right, let's play Moment of Craving. Take down the hostage taker a peg and draw a card. Let's get some card draw going. I'm sure I'll find a way to deal with the 2/3 hostage taker eventually. It doesn't scare me per se. Fountain gets sacrificed for a card. They're looking at the bindings. Do we run Blink of an Eye? Do we run something to get rid of those? Many players do not. They don't bother running anything to deal with those cards. Dispersal. Okay, that will give the opponent something. I could give them the bolus, but then they just play another. But then they can transform it. If I give them the bolus and they go to transform it, I can contempt it. So I think that's my plan. I'll take you back. I'll discard the Golden Demise. And this will resolve, and I have to discard again. I think the Moment of Craving is the least useful. I have a feeling the opponent will try to flip their bolus, and in response we can contempt it. I don't know how many hostage takers they run, so I don't know if it's a good idea to slam an Immortal Sun next turn. If the opponent doesn't flip the bolus to hold up a counterspell, alright, Contempt. Now they do have another bolus that can come down, but they can't flip it the same turn. And it does tap them low, so we can get the Immortal Sun down. Yeah, not paying life there means they definitely don't have an Ionize here, and they don't seem to play counter spells anyway. Eldest Reborn, good draw. Having to discard one of these cards to the bolus, though, is quite the pain. They know about the binding, too. But I think this is the play. Hostage Taker can come down and steal it if they have one, but let's hope not. Let's hope not. Yep. So I have to discard this Eldest Reborn. Now the opponent can activate Bolus, but it can't get back a Bolus, right? Because there isn't one there. Yeah, it's exiled. So what can Bolus get back? I don't see it. If they pass the turn with the mana up without activating Bolus, then they most certainly have a counterspell. They're really thinking about it, which tells me they probably don't have a counterspell. But maybe they're intimidated by the Immortal Sun drawing multiple cards, because if I get 2 removal spells, I'll kill the Bolus. Like I said, there's nothing to get back. A flipped Bolus drawing 2 cards is nothing to be sad about. Oh, and look, we did draw a solution. So 0 mana Fountain of Renewal is really fun. We'll play that in just a second. Let's lead with what they know about. They know about the binding, and I'd love to resolve a binding on this, but We've already exiled one. We've already got a Niv Mizzet. Do I lead with the Contempt? I could probably get my opponent to activate the Bolus next turn to try to flip it and then Contempt it and use up 7 of their mana. Let's see what happens if I go for the Binding. It must be a counter. Oh, it's a bluff. It was all a ruse. It was all a bluff. Fountain of Renewal for 0. And pass turn. Okay, that's what we need to see. So Hostage Taker will target the Immortal Sun. We're kind of lucky this is happening this turn. And in response to the targeting before the Immortal Sun goes anywhere, will Vraska's Contempt the Hostage Taker. If the opponent has a counter now, their patience is impressive, I would say. And a very fortunate series of draws for us, without question, to have that Contempt available. And now the Hostage Taker ability doesn't remove the Immortal Sun. Still nothing in the graveyard, right? Perhaps our opponent is holding Eldest Reborns themselves. Let's go ahead and draw some bonus cards. We might need them. And yeah, now the cards are beginning to flow. We'll play a Bloodfast for just 1 mana. The Enchantment Assault continues. Crackling Drake. Uh-oh. That's a big threat. There's no question we'll have to draw a solution. Here comes 2. Go ahead and take that. But then at the end step, I'm going to try making a Dawn of Hope token. If the opponent lets me untap and then tries to Fiery Cannonade it away, perhaps a Moment of Craving or Golden Demise can kill the Crackling Drake, since it would take 2 damage from the Cannonade. Alright, big draws here. Lich's Mastery. What's that do? We have a lot of permanents on the battlefield. Revitalize, that can keep us alive. 11 cards in graveyard. Yeah, if this resolves, we're pretty happy. Let's see what happens. You hear the ba-boom. Now, they have Discovery Dispersal. We could lose the game this way, but I think we would have seen it. I think they would have definitely used it on an Ixalan's Binding. Here comes my token. It has lifelink. If it hits, I draw 2 cards. We'll see if the opponent sees that, or if they use this Cannonade. Damage, okay. Looks like they're finally going for something. Yep, there's the Cannonade, that makes sense. I'm going to Revitalize now. Get my draw 3. Actually, draw 4. And now we've got some solutions if we get to untap. Our opponent can deal 10, but we have 12 cards in the graveyard and a ton of permanents on the battlefield. But if they hit a Dispersal, we lose. So high drama in this one. Because whenever Lich's Mastery leaves the battlefield, we lose the game. Now, we have an option. We can bounce the Immortal Sun instead. So that is our other plan. But double Dispersal or Hostage Taker Dispersal is game over on the spot. All right, so that's 11 cards. We have 12 in the graveyard. So let's empty this graveyard. It's not the funnest. It's not the best process in the game, let's put it that way. It takes a hot minute. And runs your timer into the ground doing it. So you gotta be on your operations, you gotta be quick. Can't be slow. Alright, I don't think that I need to use Dawn of Hope to draw cards anymore. Because of the... we'll transform that. We're not going to use it anymore as a card draw engine. Because losing 2 life makes you sacrifice 2 permanents. Which is pretty awkward. Let's test your field with this. Okay. How about this? Yep. See his blessing. 2 Contempts, 2 Eldest Reborn. The Contempts draw more cards. The Eldest Reborn does not. But we've got a lot of mana. Let's get the Eldest Reborns cooking. And again. Now, we could play the other Dawn of Hope. I told you before, though, for quality of life purposes, you really don't want to. I promise. Having to go through all the triggers twice takes a long time. So, bonus card, decline trigger, plenty of cards to go around. And the deck is kicking into high gear now. Discard, discard, please. Lava Coil. Lava Coil. Let's see what happens when we Duress. Beacon Bolt. 2 Nivs. Oh. Oh, man. Oh, the abuse. So cruel. So cruel. Your Grixis Niv deck. 1 Ixalan's Binding. Ugh. Disgusting. Oh, here's the Hostage Taker, but alas, the Vraska's Contempt does not care. And we'll see if that's the final tilt or not. At this point, the value, absolutely overwhelming. Draw 2 cards for every Vraska's Contempt. Yes, please. And now the Dawn of Hope tokens can begin to march. They're all 2/2s as well. Also, by the way, when we run out of cards in our library, we don't lose the game. That's the way that the Lich's Mastery works. We can literally draw our deck without losing the game. You can't lose the game includes drawing from an empty library. No longer a factor. I'll take this Crackling Drake. And I could target the Hostage Taker. What would I replay? I guess I could replay a Fountain of Renewal. Doesn't really matter. You have to pick a target, so I'm going to target my own Fountain of Renewal and just replay it. I don't want to like bring out the Crackling Drake, then target it. I wouldn't actually draw an additional card. It would come into play under my opponent's control. Hiya. 2 more cards. Decline those. And anything we can cast, we can Duress them, but we know it's in the hand, so there's no point. Let's go to end. I'll discard this Dawn of Hope so it's not even tempting me. And the opponent has seen enough. That's enough magic for... That's enough magic for them. Interesting hand. We do have Fountain into Revitalize. Field, if we draw another white, could get a black. The Immortal Sun's a bit of an outlier. I'll try it. I'm not sure what I'm getting into. Oh, you hear that mountain hit, and it's like you immediately know you made a mistake. You just know these are the decks where you draw a little badly, and you just lose the game. But we're gonna hope that the Fountain and the Revitalize get us somewhere. Is the opponent slow rolling the second land? Or did they keep a 1-lander? Oh my goodness. 2 awkward draws squaring off. I'm just going to hold the mana. Maybe our opponent veers a seal away, but I don't think you ever do. There's a Steamkin. We're gonna need black mana. We're gonna need it. They found what they needed. Can we match? Can we match them? That's not it. That's it. But it's slow. Ugh. Not like this. Okay, double Steamkin. Well, at least Craving can still take out the bigger one. Here comes the attack. More life gain, please. Another black, another Craving. We're down to 20, which is a great thing to say against this deck. Double Craving? Go away, you. Go away, you. Yes. We got the Steamkins off the board. You can just feel the hate bristle off me when I play the red deck. I don't try to hide it. I hate this deck so much. If I could beat only one deck forever, if I had a 100% win rate, I would choose it mono red. So I think I'm supposed to take a turn and Duress. The reason being, if they play an Experimental Frenzy, I'm in trouble, whereas I have answers to everything else going on. And a Flame of Keld, yeah, that's something we can knock out too. That is something I can also hate on quite a bit. And we'll keep buying time. Eventually, I'm sure I can draw a Golden Demise or something to clean up the dorks. Risk factor off the top. Well, I'm taking 4. Down to 14. Give it back. Dawn of Hope. That is the play, but not yet. We'll play that later, after we've deployed the Contempts. Risk factor again. I'm still taking 4. Does the opponent play around Settle? They do. Thank you. It's a gift. I don't know if double Fountain of Renewal... I don't know if you can play around Settle. I don't know. It's always hard to say. But I feel like if I were in that spot, I'd come to the conclusion that playing around Settle was not a good option. That with double Fountain of Renewal, I could simply ignore them. And now we'll put out a Dawn of Hope as well. And start drawing the bonus cards with the life gain. Pyro comes down, so now a Golden Demise is the full blowout. Lightning Strike face, because why not? That's damage. We're down to 8. We go to my turn. We go up to 10. Our opponent's sitting on 5 damage, so do we draw? I don't think we have to. I think we can wait. I think we can be patient with that. There's a land off the top. So we can Vraska's Contempt and draw an extra card. We could also Immortal Sun. But I think that's a bit too aggressive. So yeah, my plan is to Vraska's Contempt to draw a card. Not playing around Settle anymore, are we? All right. Wizard's Lightning go face, of course. Up to 9. Paid our 2 for this. There's the Golden Demise. Okay. Now, since we're planning to cast that, we can definitely draw a card here from the Dawn of Hope. And if it's a land... No, it's not a land. But we could have tried to do another one. If it had been a land, we could draw 2 there. Here's your Golden Demise. And we'll see what our opponent can top deck from here. I guess Experimental Frenzy or Flame of Keld, Risk Factor, something to reload is the hope, but that's it. And understandably so. I hope that you enjoyed this video and 7-win Black-White Orzhov. Remember to check out the sponsors. The support of the channel from Flipside Gaming and HauntedFlower.com is greatly appreciated. The holidays are coming. Maybe it's time to get yourself a little gift. All right. Or, that's not how gifts work. What's the matter with me? tell other people to get you the gifts. That's how it works. Send them to Flipside Gaming and send them to hauntedflower.com. Use the promo code CGB. Links are in the description. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next video. My YouTube channel is proudly supported by hauntedflower.com, shipping officially licensed apparel anywhere in the world, and now featuring Magic the Gathering apparel and accessories. If you use the promo code CGB at your checkout, you can save 10% on any order. That's the promo code CGB at checkout on hauntedflower.com. That's hauntedflower.com.